Good evening, and I'm going to call this meeting to order because our chairman is absent tonight. So our commission's first order of business is going to be the appointment of a chairman pro tem. So we'll need a motion to nominate somebody, and then
I am going to motion for Jay Perpall to be our chairman pro tem for the evening.
I'll second.
all right, and then we'll need a vote.
All right. All in favor? So y'all have to forgive us, obviously, for the clumsiness of what's going to happen tonight. Okay. But we will muddle through and do the best that we can. Yeah, so I guess you want to
Yeah, the
introduce
first
us?
item that we'll need something from you, a motion for, is the acceptance of the minutes. And the minutes that you guys are reviewing are the minutes from the regular meeting from the 22nd of November in 2022, the minutes of the call meeting from November 30th, 2022, and then the minutes from the call meeting on January 10th of 23.
I think that has to be three separate motions.
All right, so have y'all had a chance to look at the minutes and everything?
Yeah.
Is there any issues or any? No? All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of November 22, 2022.
Make a motion.
Second.
All right, and so we have a motion by Mr. Griswold and a second by Mr. Gaither. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Passes unanimous. The second is the acceptance of minutes of Planning Commission from November 30th, 2022. Have y'all had a chance to look at those and see if there's any issues? All right. The chair will entertain a motion to the minutes from November 30th.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second. All right, so we have a motion to accept by Mr. Gaither, seconded by Mr. Griswold. All in favor, raise your hand. Passes unanimous. And then number 3, the minutes for January 10th. Has everybody had a chance to read in?
Yes.
Any issues? All right. Chair will entertain a motion to make a decision on the January 10th minutes.
I motion for it to be accepted. Second.
So we have a motion from Ms. Walter and a second from Ms. Gaither. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes unanimous. So we're going to move on to the public hearings part of our agenda. We have the zoning map update. Ashley, if you want to give us a rundown on what that looks like.
Sure thing. So the last adopted zoning map was in 2017. So this is kind of just routine maintenance on our zoning map to reflect the changes that have been adopted by the mayor and council. In the staff report, I can go through the list of it, but it might be pretty boring. Of some of the changes, it doesn't reflect all of the changes. There were some that just got a little overlooked, but I have reflected those in the most recent copy of the map, which you guys see on the presentation and in your that I gave you this evening. I also have a mock-up of a web application that we want to start getting some of our stuff online and accessible to the public. So we want to be able to show the public the future land use map as along with zoning designations. And it would be a good way for them to see if they're in the corridor or in the historic preservation district as well. So I can show that to you guys as well. And we can kind of go over if you guys have any questions or anything. So on this web mapping application, you can turn on the historic district. I don't know if you can see very well the change. there. It just darkens that character area. And you can turn on the corridor overlay, which is that white. If you see it, it's white hatching. So this is what it looks like when you're zoomed in. It's kind of hard to see on the projector, but that's what it looks like. And then you can also click on a parcel and you can find out the character area that it is in the future land use map. Well, obviously gonna have to fix that. And then you can click on the link. You should be able to click on the link and see the description of the future land use map area and what applicable zoning districts would be able to go in that. And then you can also see the zoning designation along with the tax parcel ID. And then once we start getting rezone cases in for this year, then we'll add in case numbers and then the action taken, and the date of the action, and then we'll also include any action notices. So it'll say it was approved, denied, or approved with conditions, tabled, what have you. So we would be able to update all of this in-house as well. So we wouldn't have to do this every 3, 5, however many years between zoning map updates.
Okay.
And this will all be accessible through the city website
Correct.
to anybody?
Yes.
All right. Is there any questions that the board has for Ms. Smith?
I do. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So,
Could somebody summarize any major changes from previous years?
Yes, sir. So I can go through the list. So the biggest change that you're gonna see on this zoning map versus the previously adopted zoning map is the color scheme change. And the color scheme change is because most communities have the proposed zoning map color scheme where residential uses are typically seen in shades of yellow, commercial uses are typically seen in shades of red, and industrial uses are typically seen in shades of purple. OI is blue. And that's pretty, an agriculture is green. That's pretty across the board for most zoning designations. The biggest changes are the tax parcel SC020001, and we can follow along on the map if we want.
So to be clear, the purpose of the update is to become more uniform with what's generally accepted in terms of the zoning maps that we see across most municipalities.
That is correct.
Okay.
Municipalities and county government too.
So to be clear, we're updating our map. We are not changing any zoning that you currently have in place in the city. We are just changing the way this thing looks, correct?
That is correct. And this also reflects the changes that have been adopted since 2017. So I have a good kind of visual here.
So I just want to be clear, sir, that's what you were kind of looking for, is to understand exactly what we were trying to accomplish with this, correct?
Okay. So if you look at this, so I'm going to slide down, and this is what it was in 2017 with the updated color. So it looks a little bit different than this map that's on the wall over here because the colors are different. So if you look, I'm going to slide it down, and it's going to change to what's in 2022. So this is a reflection of the change. And you'll notice it, see on the left side of the screen, we've got that residential rezone, and then we have the PUD that went back to residential. And then we have,
I have some questions about some of these that you've got on the list.
We'll get to some of that in the public hearing portion.
the biggest changes, so I'll continue that demonstration for the commission. So you can kind of see it's cleaning up some of the stuff that was in the road, and then we're going down, we've got that rezone down there, those two rezones down there as well. So,
Okay.
Ms. Lawhart, did you have questions?
so, just a few.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that map that we're seeing, that's our current That's what's current right now.
Yes, this is what's current, this is the proposed zoning map along with the
Okay.
adopted future land use map.
Okay, so it looks obviously different, the two printed maps to the right of the projection. The bottom one,
Yes.
And the
bottom
top one.
Yeah. The top one is the future development map.
okay.
So that's this, so I can turn that layer off if that's
N-
confusing.
No. So I guess my question would be,
That's the zoning map.
our procedure for changing zoning is going to remain the same, just the way that we have to approve the updated maps is going to be different. Or not approve the updated maps, but the maps will almost be changed in real time.
Correct.
Okay,
That's the goal of this, is to update, reflect the changes that are from the end of 2022, from 2017 to the end of 2022, and then hopefully we can get this online and available to the public by our website go live date.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board, for Ms. Davis? All right. As there are none, we'll open it for the public hearing. Again, just to be clear, on the public hearing portion of this, we will open it up for the for and against. Each side, for and against, will have 10 minutes collective. It's not 10 minutes per person that comes up and speaks. So, just keep that in mind for the sake of everybody else, that's out there, that it is 10 minutes collective, not 10 minutes individually. So we don't have anybody that signed up for the zoning map, but if there is somebody out there that would like to speak for, now's your time to come and do it. Seeing none, I will move to the speak against, and I have a Mr. Is it Gavin Winston? You just state your name and address.
Gotcha. Well, you got it right. My name is Gavin Winston, and I live Carnation Drive, Zodi Farms on Ocoba. I didn't realize this was mostly about the colors, but the changes in the top left, the two additions of residential, I think it's fine, but my issue with it is that it seems to go against the city's comprehensive plan, which is to have a mixed variety of housing types, or at least a little bit of similar housing types. And there's only so much good land to go around, and I'm afraid that if we use it all up, then we just won't be able to do that.
All right. So I think there's may have been just a little misunderstanding. So we're not doing any actual changing in zoning right now. All we're doing is trying to get a uniform look on the map so that it's, yes, I don't think there's anything that's related to the housing, housing development or anything of that nature at this moment.
All right, well, makes it easy then.
All right, thank you. Anybody else that wants to speak against the updating the zoning map? All right, so we'll conclude the hearing on that. So if there's anything that the board would like to deliberate on, then we can do it. Otherwise, Chair will entertain a motion to the zoning map.
I think I will motion to approve the change to the zoning map since nothing appears to be changing procedurally.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve from Ms. Walton. And a second from Ms. Gaither, or Mr. Gaither. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, passes unanimous. All right, second item for business here is the Town Park Development Agreement. So, Ms. Davis, if you will introduce that to us, please.
Okay, so a little bit of history about this. The Town Park Development halted their development in 2008, like a lot of other developments at that time did. And the development agreement that was signed in 2004 lapsed in 2017. So because this development is a PUD, a new development agreement must be reached before they can get any sort of building permit or anything like that to finish out the development. the main thing about this agreement is the intent of it is to honor the original agreement for the development. And just to kind of go over what's encompassed in the development agreement, kind of the Cliff Notes version, if you will. Exhibit 1 contains the previous development agreement and all relevant exhibits to that. The city would like to amend section 3.2.3J to read, there shall be natural gas service to all units with at least 3 gas appliances. Exhibit A, that's the legal description of the property. Exhibit B is the recorded plat. It's also known as the overall site plan and referenced that way throughout the agreement. Exhibit C is some of the mitigation measures, and Exhibit D are the covenants. And that's all kind of spelled out in the first couple pages as well. Exhibit 2 is the recorded plat, also known as the overall site plan, so we have that in there twice. Exhibit 3 contains the approved house plans, and those are on the next slide. There are 5 of them. It's the Marshall with the sunroom, the Gilbert with the sunroom, the Scottsdale, and the Crystal with the sunroom, the Trenton with the sunroom. So those are the 5 house plans that are contained within Exhibit 3. And staff recommends approval of the development agreement, or, yeah.
Is your microphone on?
Yes, sir. It has a green light on it. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not.
So in relation to the original agreement that we had before, what are the significant differences, or are there any between the original one and this one here?
The only change is the city would like to amend section 3.2.3J of the original agreement to read, there shall be natural gas service to all units with at least 3 gas appliances instead of providing water heaters.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for Ms. Davis?
I've got a question.
Hang on one second, sir. Hang on one second. We'll get to the public hearing in just a moment. No?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we will open the public hearing then, seeing that there's no questions from the board from Ms. Davis at this time for staff. So again, keep in mind that it's 10 minutes per side. It's not 10 minutes per person, so just be aware of that for your fellow citizens. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So, yeah, we should probably do that first. The applicant. Is the applicant here? All right. Would y'all like to come and present some information regarding it? Or do y'all have anything to say for it? Thanks, Valerie. Yeah.
Hello, good evening. My name is Eric Knott, and I work for Risk Communities.
Can you make sure that green light is on?
Hello? Can you hear me now? Yes. My name is Eric Knott. I work for Risk Communities, and we are the company that has purchased the remaining lots in Town Park. So we are here because we are looking to get some permits approved for building.
All right. And so your intention through all of this is to not do any news, not have any other plans outside of what was originally existing in terms of construction style, and all those, the things that were already set in place in the beginning?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry, and I'm Jessica Elder, also with the company, and I handle applying for the permits and the front end on that side. Out of the 5 plans that were mentioned, we plan to use 4 of the original. 1 doesn't fit in the setbacks with the lots that we have, so we weren't able to put that 1 plan into the mix. But we do have our original 4
So you're saying one of the 5 plans for the buildings doesn't actually fit on the lots that are back there?
With the
Okay.
setbacks. So,
Okay.
yes, it is the Gilbert plan, the Marshall plan, and Scottsdale, and let me look at the last one, the Trenton. We are able to build, and that's what we're proposing to build, the exact same plans.
So it's the crystal that's not being used?
No,
Okay. Okay.
we, that's the exact same plans. We don't really have any other changes. We just really need to get the development agreement to move forward.
Sure.
So,
Valerie?
All of the houses will all look uniform like the ones in Town Park currently do?
Exteriors will match, yes, ma'am. They'll match existing.
Okay, so brick.
Yes,
Four
ma'am.
sides.
Okay, four-side brick. It is my understanding that Town Park is currently an age-restricted community. How is that gonna look going forward?
We were told through city personnel it was not. So I don't know
Correct.
how,
There's nothing in these documents that we have from the original agreement or any minutes that I could find that states that this is an age-restricted community. There's nothing that on city stuff that says it's age-restricted. Now, if it's marketed that way, I can help that.
It was sold by the original.
That's the way it is. And I don't know exactly how it got that
So
way.
the original developer marketed that way. He did not file anything correctly to have it maintained that way.
Okay,
It's never been marketed as an age restricted, it's always been marketed as an active adult. Never.
All right. Well,
okay. Okay,
anything else? Y'all have anything for the applicant?
not currently.
All right, thank you. If we have any other questions or anything, we might call you back up.
thank you.
All right, so just to keep in mind, just as we go through this, as we get to the public hearing, if you have something to say, wait for time to come up there instead of hollering up to us from the seating area. But we will open the public hearing for this at this time for this application. So again, 10 minutes per side. I don't have anyone listed here that would like to speak for it. But if there's somebody out there that would like to that didn't sign up, now's your opportunity. Yes, sir, come forward to the mic.
Maybe while he's coming up, you can tell us what he said. I'll talk loud.
All right, if you'll state your name and...
My name is John Williams, and I'm a resident of Town Park. And the main thing that we're concerned about is the uniformity of all this. The last builder that came in was supposed to follow the general rules of the subdivision, and I realize that we've had a couple amendments, a foot or two here and there, to make the plan fit the lot. But we like to keep the same general appearance. All sides brick, all the windows the same, all the doors the same, and any of the funny architecture that comes up that doesn't fit the neighborhood. Now, even though the plans look familiar, the inside is no concern. People can change the walls a little bit to suit themselves, but we like the outside appearance to be uniform with what's already been in the neighborhood. The last builder that came in had different windows, different doors, and different trim. And if you look very close, in the 5 houses that they built, they're different. Mainly the doors are different, and it stuck out like a sore thumb.
So you're not against the development of it and then extending this
No,
back into it? You just want to make sure that there's some uniformity,
That's
sir?
right,
Okay.
that's what we're concerned
And
about.
then that's what the applicant is saying that they intend to do, so,
Well,
I mean,
somebody's gonna have to keep a close watch on them.
I understand.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Anybody else that'd like to speak for the renewal of the urban development plan? Yes, ma'am.
Is there any plans for ingress, egress? I mean, there's one way out of that subdivision and one way in that subdivision.
We can address that, but yeah. So do you have anything else? Do you need to say anything?
I live in Town Park, and I...
Can you come to the podium?
Sorry. I can talk real...
So to be clear, are you for, or, because this is the public hearing part where we're speaking in favor of the urban development thing.
Well,
So-
I have no problem with, developing the additional lots that in there, and I
Okay.
concur with what everybody else is concerned with is,
Okay.
we're in there, my husband and I guess this is our 7th year. And I know there's been a misconception about this being a 55-plus community. When we bought the house 7 years ago, we thought we were moving in a 55-plus community. The agent and the builder that sold us the house told us it was a 55-plus community. And you could Google Town Park right now, and on the 55-plus, it comes up, 55, active adult community, and it shows the new floor plans that this builder is proposing to build.
So just on that though, is that, how and again, this is, just renewing a development plan that was already in place previously that expired, and we're just trying to renew it so that we can finish it
Well,
out.
like I said, I have no problem
So the way
with the
that they mark,
lots.
what I'm saying is that this meeting is specifically for renewing the development plan as was stated previously. What the developer decides to market it as is not something that's within our scope, so we can't necessarily speak to that aspect of it. We just want to make sure that what
Well, I would
we're doing
definitely,
is not
and I
changing
think everybody in
anything.
here probably has the exact same concerns. I mean, the
Sure.
one-way in, the one-way out, the traffic, the accessibility to any emergency vehicles that we would have to have, and that type thing, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, what was your name?
Mary McKinney.
Mary McKinney. All right, again, this is speaking in favor of the renewal of the PUD, Planning Urban Development, Planned Urban Development. So does anybody else like to speak? No? All right, so we do have some folks here listed to speak against the development agreement. There you go, see Mr. John Ankers.
My name's John Ankers. I'm a resident of Town Park. I stand not necessarily in opposition of the development, but in opposition of making any variations to the approved plans. For instance, I have the approved plans here, as you've got here, but in the plans, all doorways, with the exception of non-pass-through doors, in other words, doors that go into closets that are not walk-in closets, are indicated on the plans as 3-foot minimum. We're told that the builder has intentions of putting smaller doorways. This subdivision was built not as a 55 and older community, but it was built, and it was not built as an ADA compliant subdivision, but it was built, according to these plans, I guess for a better term would be a handicap-friendly houses, to where people can move into these houses, live there. If they get to where they need a walker, or if they need a wheelchair, they can access all of the rooms. Well, what we've been told is that the builder intends to make the master suite a handicap accessible unit within the house, but the other bedrooms and other rooms in the house will have smaller doorways. That's what I'm in opposition of, building a different accessibility in the houses that he wants to build versus what we've got now. Essentially what it would be doing would be making 2/3 of the subdivision handicap friendly, and the final third, the final 60 lots, I think, that he's purchased to build on would be a non-friendly house for handicapped people. So what the point I'm trying to make is that the 3 old doors are shown on the approved plans. The city, in my judgment, should require the builder to use 3-foot doors within the units themselves. So where he can't vary and make a 2.6 or a 2.8 door, where a person couldn't be able to pass through that door on a walker or in a wheelchair. To me, there's no difference in that on the plans in certain roof pitches that are indicated. Four-side brick is indicated. Some other variations. But that's what I would be opposed to, is to allowing him to change primarily from a 3.0 opening to a small opening to where people could not access other parts of the house if they were constrained to using a walker or a wheelchair. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Knight, would you like any time to rebuttal on that?
Sure. I am not privy to any ADA restrictions within the community. So we plan to build per plan that is approved by the city. So at this point, we are not planning on changing any closet door sizes.
So you are planning on following what's listed?
We're going to build what the city approves, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ms. Connor Smith.
So we come in pairs.
So just to be clear, we have 6.5 minutes left on that.
And we can talk fast.
Okay.
But I'm Debbie Connor Smith. I am Connor Smith Realty. I live at 638 South Cherokee. This is Susan Farrell.
I live at 836 South Cherokee.
No, we live here. So we have been involved with Town Park ever since we sold the land.
Mm-hmm.
We have sold every house that's in there. And I'm not against it. I want it developed. I want it finished. That is a beautiful subdivision. It's probably, to me, one of the prettiest in Social Circle. And we have that subdivision because the mayor and council wanted it. That's not what we were going to build.
Yeah.
And the mayor and council came and asked us if we would do an active adult community. And we did. And it's always been an active adult community. And at one time, some of the residents even brought a lawyer in to try to change it to a age restrictive. And it never was changed. It's always just been an active adult community. But the thing is, we have always made the houses handicap accessible. We call it a stepless community, to where you don't have steps, and we have low threshold showers. We did the higher toilets. We did the 3.0 doors, and it's a stepless community for if you ever need handicap accessible. We call it a neighborhood where you never have to leave. You haven't got to leave your home because you can't live there anymore when you have to go on a scooter or a wheelchair or a, but I'm not against it. I want the development. Would love to see the development finished out. And it will. And this is a sellable product. We have never built anything in there that didn't sell immediately. I mean, immediately.
Yeah.
But you're going to miss the boat if you don't do the crystal house.
Direct it this way.
The developer is going to miss the boat if he doesn't do the crystal house plan. And I came to the city and got a blanket variance for that house plan, for that subdivision, so that you could put the crystal on those lots. So
That is the most popular
probably
plan.
50%, at least 50% of the house plans in there are the crystals.
Okay.
That's the one everybody wanted. So the developer really needs to take another look at doing that.
So obviously, this is very dear to our heart. We would love to see this finished. We hate it that we didn't get to do it back then,
but it's beautiful, we want it finished, but the city is the one who wanted to, got with Stark Hudson, with Star Home Builders, and said, we want something to attract seniors into this community.
Right.
Because it was going to be, you know, just regular houses, but the city wanted something like that. So they came together with an agreement, and we would just like to see the original agreement with the handicap accessible features completed in the rest of the homes.
All right, thank you.
That's it.
Mr. Winston, you're listed on the speak against as well, but did you say everything? Oh, sorry.
I got a little more.
Okay.
Apparently, I mean, I thought it was a 55-plus community. I tried to do my homework. I went to look it up. I believe you when you say that it isn't. I do accept that I'm wrong about that, but I don't know. Someone should probably tell the real estate agents. But anyway, I think that given that it's a 55-plus community, I think that it would be a good place to try and build some more housing types, just because I think a lot of the concerns that surround that tend to apply less when you're talking about a 55-plus population. For example, I know a lot of people bring up crime, which is fair, but you know, how many 55-plus folks do crime? Not too many of them. And I think it would be a good way to pilot test different things. For example, nothing huge, but
So to be clear, are you saying that you are for us extending, renewing the development that we already have? Because it's already a development that was done for, what's there, and the agreement expired.
Right.
And so we're just renewing what was already there. So I'm just trying to follow where you're going. So you're for us for it or against it?
I would be for it if it were either amended or if it had at least the ability for different, I guess, zonings of house to be built.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to understand is because it's one specific thing.
Right.
With this in mind is this.
Right.
So
Okay.
for or
That
against?
would make me against.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I guess that's everything I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. All right. So that's everybody on our list. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in opposition to the renewal of the urban development plan? All right, Mr. Knott, if you have a few more minutes, if you'd like to add anything to what has been said, or if you have any rebuttal.
I agree with the previous statement that Town Park is a beautiful community.
Yes, please, sir.
And we intend to finish it in that manner. Again, there's a lot of questions regarding the 55 and older and the ADA compliance. We're going to match the plans approved by the city, and I'm not currently aware of any ADA restrictions within the community or within the plans.
Are you aware, do we know, Ms. Davis, if there are any variances that were submitted, or Barbara, if we don't have any variances that were submitted so that Crystal could be built?
Yes, there is a blanket variance for the setback from the Crystal. So for that, you don't have to, that's y'all's choice.
Sure.
But there is that blanket variance on
Yes.
Town Park.
Okay, very good. That's good to know.
Given that, if a person came in and said, hey, we want this house on this lot, and it's this plan, and yes, it's tight, given that we have the variances in place, are y'all opposed to allowing that to be
No,
built?
sir.
Okay,
Not opposed.
so in essence, all 5 plans are in play relative to where they are here and the concerns that everybody else has where they, that's a high volume plan apparently.
Yeah.
So
I was unaware of the variance, so yes, that we can move forward
okay.
with that blessing.
All right. Does anyone else have a question for
And
the
you
applicant?
would be considering that the rest of the community is stepless, I'm going to use their term,
Sure.
that would remain in play.
Correct. We have no reason to change it.
Doorway widths, all the good things,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Just like it was.
Yes.
And any existing neighborhood covenants
We'll-
would be adhered to.
Again, we'll build what is approved by the city.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. So if nobody else has anything else they'd like to say, this will... Yes, ma'am, come on. Got about a minute and a half. If you'll state your name, please.
Sharon Bergen, and I live in Town Park. What was approved by the city that he's talking about the doorways, et cetera? What was approved?
Ms. Davis.
Okay, so we have house plans that were approved, but those house plans don't have measurements on them, and they're included under Exhibit 3. So I haven't seen anything in this document that references anything specific about interior doors.
So how do we get to the bottom of that to find out if we can have what we're asking for?
There's nothing in the current, in what I can find that, this isn't part of any of the exhibits that I have.
But wouldn't it go back to the original house plans, the original that you're talking about?
These house plans that you see right here are taken directly from the document that we're talking about approving, and they're the same house plan. So in essence, they should fit this, what you just handed me, but, I mean,
Not what I was handed when I bought into Town Park 14 years ago.
I mean, I can't, I don't know what to say.
That's my question. That's what I'd dig at the bottom of, if you can. That's...
All right.
So if these are the exact same house plans that were built previously, and he will adhere to what is currently there, it would stand to reason that these house plans already include the doorway widths, heights,
Correct.
dimensions that would make everything accessible and stepless.
Correct. Well, let me close the public hearing first. So is there anybody else that has anything they'd like to add for or against? Yes, sir. You can stand back there, sir, if you can speak up.
I can speak up. Hear me?
What's your name, sir?
James O. Howell.
Okay.
We moved into Town Park 7 years ago. I could get out of a chair very easily. I wasn't toting this damn thing around either. But over the years, I suddenly turned into 92. But my wife, who is a nurse, I had enough intelligence to let her build a house. I managed to pay for it. But now I'm so thankful I did, because if I had to get in the bathtub today, we have a walk-in shower. It's a blessing beyond belief. The doors are all wide. I know this sounds a little crude, but if it's warm, I walk in the street. But I have a walker that's upright, and it goes through the doors and around my house so nicely, and it doesn't disturb anybody because we live there, we own the house. But I would hope, there are people driving through there every day, and those gentlemen stop and talk to us. He wants to buy a house there, but the price has suddenly gone up considerably higher. And I doubt if he ever gets to move in, because he just doesn't have enough money. But there are many people that would like to live there and have the large doors, the conveniences that we share in the older houses there now. Our house is 7 years old. I hope to goodness that you maintain this property for elderly people, which I'm certainly one at 92 now. Whoever thought I'd live that long?
Yes.
We would be most grateful if you would see fit to maintain the place as it currently is, because we sort of grow into it.
Sure.
At least I have. And I have several friends there that are in the process of growing into it too.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Howell.
I couldn't move again, so I guess
Well,
it's,
And we certainly appreciate that, what y'all have in that area, so. Well, I think this concludes the public hearing, so I will close that out, and the board will deliberate and discuss. So does anybody have anything, questions, concerns?
I do. I think by just blanket reinstating the development plan, is that what it's called? I mean, I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea, but I do believe that since the original development was built, we've had some changes, like in our ordinances for ingress and egress, and that is a very good point. So I guess my question is for you, if we reinstate this exactly as it was.
It goes by the plan that was approved back in 2002, 2003.
Okay.
So the intent of this is to keep it exactly the same as it was, including the overall site plan, and just finish building it out. Is that preliminary plan?
With no additional,
Has there been any conversation with public safety as far as what I think she's getting to is the egress and, freedom of movement of vehicles throughout for, EMS and things of that nature?
So the issue at hand isn't the plat or the site plan. The issue is the development agreement.
Okay.
If we're talking about,
So that's something that would come up on a different, okay.
so,
because the preliminary plat was approved way back when, and it's recorded.
So to be clear, Valerie, then at this point, all we're trying to look at is nothing to do with any zoning ordinances, planning,
Just can
type
they
thing.
go
Just
back?
can they go back with the urban development that it was originally set up as for them to develop it into a
so they'll come
community
back
such
with
as
another
this?
site plan, and then we can address ingress, egress.
No, that's already
They
done.
have a site plan. This is the site plan. And this is the site plan that was approved by the elected officials back then. So there's a preliminary plat that's approved and recorded. They're just trying to finish the build out.
So it sounds, your concern is the same as we've had for all these other newer developments we've had, in that
Correct.
when you reach a certain number of lots in a house, in a subdivision or development, that there has to be more than one entrance.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I understand the concern, but we can't, the plat, the preliminary plat was approved and the site plan was approved way back when, so this is what's on the books to go there. But the development agreement lapsed, so we're just trying to reinstate that,
So if we reinstate the development agreement, they don't have to adhere to any of the current zonings.
if they would have come in 2017, they wouldn't have had to adhere to any of the current.
Yeah, but we're 6 years past that now.
All we can approve is this development agreement.
Okay.
All right. Any other concerns? Dolphins? Ms. Senor? None?
I'm a little concerned with the egress and getting fire trucks and so forth down there on something like this. And I know it's been changed. What they had back in 2017 is different now. And some of the city ordinances or whatever. And
How many total houses are we talking about in the development? 155, with one entrance and one exit.
We need another.
Because see, that wouldn't, if it was a new development right now, if they were coming in with a new development, it wouldn't pass.
Right, but it's not.
I know.
So,
But it don't-
I can't.
Well, it is going to be new development.
Yes.
We can call it
It's
whatever.
new development in an already approved plan.
I would be open to the development, but they've got to have more.
So the only saving grace is that you have a loop.
A what?
A loop. You have a loop in the bottom end of it. So it's like you can come in and you can have you can have a flow of traffic, essentially.
Inside it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only.
But not getting in and out.
Well,
That's my problem with it.
Well, we have what's in front of us. We have to, we need to make a decision on it, or a recommendation on it, so
Well, then I will make a recommendation.
the chair will entertain a motion.
I will motion to deny as written, but would be open to a resubmittal with additional ingress and egress points.
So to be clear,
As written, recommend denial.
okay. So we have a motion for denial of the plan as written. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. All right, that's 3, 4. All opposed, raise your hand. That's 2 against. So Ms. Jackson, Ms. Walter, and Mr. Griswold voted in favor of denial, or voted for denial. Mr. Gaither and myself have voted against the denial. So that concludes all business on that. And just remember, we are a recommending body. We don't make decisions based on, the things that's for the city council to do. So we make a recommendation, it goes to the city council, and the city council is free to choose to go with our recommendation or not. So keep that in mind. So if, that's what we're here for, is recommendations.
Can you tell us,
So the recommendation was for a denial of the plan, as opposed with 3 people for the denial and 2 people against the denial. So it goes to the board with a recommendation of a 3-2 denial.
and the city can either approve it as written, deny it as written, or kind of table it. When is, or approve it with conditions? When is the city council meeting where this will be heard?
The city council meeting is the 21st of February.
So that concludes our business. Is there any new business that we need to discuss?
I don't have any new business for you
All right.
guys, unless y'all have any.
What's the executive session?
Oh, we don't have to have that.
Okay.
We would like to thank you for your service to the community. It's straightened out.
All right, well, if there's no other business, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
So,
Meeting is adjourned.
I mean, I'm all about